On the
to
tech
help serve
gods.
us.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, let's drop in. Just take a breath, ground into your body. Whatever just happened over the last few hours of our life, let's just release that into the ethers at this moment in time and be here together. Yeah, just let it out. All right. I'm actually just going to do a sweep today. Let's call in the Ascended Masters and all of their purity of love and light and truth to help us to lean in today, to be able to express ourselves and to actually share from our heart centers and to drop into vulnerability today to serve the collective. And I call in our spirit guides. I call in someone in charge of technology. Let's call the blueprint technicians in, just to help keep us together in alignment today, and the Instagram working, and that people can hear us and nobody gets muted and we're all here expanding to help keep the channels clear. And I just ask that our fields of energy be cleared and that everyone listening into this will be able to hold a light in this purity, to hear, feel, see us, to be able to move with us and to take whatever info resonates with them to be able to implement. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is.
So it is.
Oh, yeah, get right in there, man. I was like, let's go. Fucking call them all in at once and let's move.
Tanya,
ma'am,
do you want to shut the comments off?
Oh, yeah. Hang on.
I mean, we love everybody.
Yeah, no, sorry.
Comment at a later date.
Didn't even think. Welcome, everyone. So for those of you on my page, you may not be sure as to what's going on here, but we have been collaborating together, the lovely Brooke Randbeck and then my lovely Colleen Lindberg. We've been doing this amazing weekly show, if you will, where we're dropping in and doing like real-time clearing of like the shadow shit, stepping into our shadow, really looking at our triggers. So in case those of you are unfamiliar with what we've been doing, I just wanted to give a little 411. And so we're going to get into it. We're here for probably 60 minutes, maybe a little bit less, and getting started. So, Brooke, where are you at? What do you got?
Okay, so I know I mentioned this in Voxer, but 3 questions, okay, that I want to just talk about. You guys can answer these 3 questions. If you want to use them, go ahead. 3 questions. What lights you up? Where are things sucking, or where are you stuck? What pain are you in? Whatever. And what would you like instead? Okay, so we get the light, and then we get the shadow, and then we get the transmutation, and then what we can do through this week is, if any of us need any extra guidance on, you know, really following through with what it is that we would like instead, that portion, like, that's what we get to do to transfigure what we are doing here, what, like, this abundance. So yeah, if you guys want those questions and want the prompts, let me know. So I'm gonna start. What is lighting me up today? Well, obviously being able to be here with you guys. And oh man, my body, I'm feeling really clean and clear and guided with this physical vehicle. And I was feeling like fucking shit, okay? My whole
say it like it is, bro.
And everything. And you know, even though I stay on top of this, what brought me to this point, to why I'm feeling good, is really why it was the trigger that triggered me into getting my shit together to start to do things that I know make me feel good, put things in my body that I know feels good, things like that. Doing detox with and 10 days with Colleen. So I got 3 left, and Lakshmi. So she's really presenting herself today. I'm so excited to share with you guys. But anyways, so that is what is lighting me up. And I'm always driven by something. So I am doing my workshop, right? Well, it's July 18th, the Shadows workshop. I like to represent, right? I'm not going to just do a teaching or a workshop or something like that. For me, I'm going to take full advantage of the ups and downs and the things that go into it, and just make it a full body experience. So with that being said, that's when Kalima and Lakshmi were like, okay, well, you know, you're working on your triggers and shadows, they're coming in. And so where the trigger really came in for this is I'm very frustrated, pissed off. Oh my God, I get so angry at marketing, the marketing manipulation. Now, for a majority of my life, like literally my whole life, and obviously throat chakra, this is going back to the first 7 years of this physical vehicle on this planet, that all of this stuff is coming up. And right now, I am part of a company, and I love supplements, and I sell supplements, and I'm all about that. But I'm very angry with the losing 5-pound biofeedback loop. Okay, so I just really feel like, God damn it! What the hell? Why? Like. Why do I have to feel like I gotta lose 5 pounds? Because everybody out here all of a sudden is telling me I need to lose 5 pounds. I haven't had to deal with any of that issues or anything like that for quite a few years. But it is such a trigger for me because 2 things. One, I am not better. I don't want to be a know-it-all or anything like that, right? But for some reason, I felt like shit about myself for so many fucking years. It was put on me to have body dysmorphia, to put me into the health realm, right? Mm-hmm. I have a passion for health. I have a passion for people taking care of themselves. I don't understand why people don't take care of themselves, things like that. Well, none of that is any of my business, right? But I also feel compelled that I want to bust past through this. I don't want anybody to have to be in that biofeedback loop anymore of the having to lose 5 pounds. So if I don't want something for somebody, that means that I gotta look at myself, check myself, and make sure that I complete this fucking lesson, because I'm done with it. I am over it. It's just so
You're really passionate about it, bro.
I mean, I just think it's so stupid. Yeah. But at the same time, obviously, if I'm being this triggered by it, things like that. Well, you know, I'll claim, you know, I have been an experiment in all different ways, whether that's me experimenting with myself or somebody else. I don't know. Somebody takes me on a ship and fucking does shit to me.
For those that don't know Brooke, she plays out in the ethers often on purpose. I know.
Okay. But I was called upon, you know, to really challenge some of the food and challenge some of the lies about the food and just the marketing about food and things like that. So I've been on this experiment doing weird shit, like putting really nasty things in my body, knowing like, okay, a little bit, this is not me, this is not stuff I like. And so I got to the point where I'm full of poison, right? So when I look at myself, I know that I know how to get all this shit out of me. I know how to deal with inflammation. I know all of this, right? And so once again, I had to be put to this point, and this is the last time. This is the last lesson. Thank you, Dolores Cannon. But so what is coming up for me is just going through this experiment. What do I want for other people is literally needs to me for me to focus on what do I want for myself. And when I didn't have to deal with this, because I didn't have to deal with this for a good 3 years, it created so much time and space. For one, at first I almost felt lost because, oh my God, what am I going to do if I don't have to lose weight? You know what I mean? Like, it's the biggest manipulation that there is out there for humans right now. And so of course I'm back here where there's a lesson that I need to learn. There's a lesson that I need to represent and show the way. And so then, like, okay, I know all this. Then Kali Ma comes in. So Kali Ma is fucking distraught. Get this fucking shit out of your body right now. We know how to do that. It's called lots of things, including a coffee enema. This is how much she's got me fucking. She's like, you're gonna do this and you're gonna do this. And I'm like, okay. Okay, right? But it's because of the destruct, clear out, cleanse, and then there has to be a grieving process. And I don't think people quite get that part, is just the grieving process of the things that you are letting go of. Okay, because at some point they served me, right? And then it's open. I am clean and clear, and I am ready to receive the next guidance. And so with that being said, and just really working closely with her, getting to this point of my maturity and my wisdom, it turns into, now I'm getting to create nectar out of this poison. Okay, so we can have, so Kali Ma, if you, depending on your consciousness with her, she can be a dark side and bring darker and darker and darker shadows, right? So poison can lead to more poison and poison. But we can also, through certain actions, beliefs, behaviors, attitudes, consciousness, transmute this poison that's in my body into fucking nectar. And that is all being done within the throat chakra, through just because there's so much more to cleansing the body than just chemicals and shit like that. It is like years of pent up bullshit, eons, right? As a woman, and then our bodies, what is created the first 7 years of our lives to keep us so fucking small. Because what would this world be like if women fucking loved themselves? They didn't think twice about any of this stuff, and how it's so dirty. It's so dirty what people do to little girls, in the sense of the mind, right? multiple ways, of course, but where it really comes in is about like that 7 to 10 years, right? And it's that voice of humiliation that comes in. And that voice of humiliation is just, oh my God, I didn't know it was there. But once I did know it was there, I was able to be like, oh my God, where did this voice of humiliation really come from? Why is it there? Obviously it's kept me safe, because in this world, if you are a woman and you love yourself and you take care of yourself and you're kind to yourself, then you are a threat. Okay, you're a threat to other women, you're a threat to society. Like, dude, keep your fucking mouth shut. Okay. If you feel good about yourself, keep your mouth shut, because you're gonna really cause a lot of people to be what? Fucking triggered.
Yeah.
Fucking triggered. Okay? And because I have always been a trigger to people, there was this time, probably within, not necessarily the last year, but about 2 years, I was really, really strong into protecting other people from me triggering them. Oh, fuck, I'm a trigger to that person. And then as a coach, oh my God, you bring things up in people and you trigger them. And you know what occurs after a trigger, especially if somebody doesn't have the means to manipulate that trigger into nectar, into beauty, into the treasure it is. And so really being that fucking way shower right now, representing through this physical vehicle the deeper connection, the higher source connection that I resonate with, and being a representation of that now, which is, after last week, like some of the things that I talked about on triggers and shadows is great, because then I was like, oh, look at where you're probably not liked here, because, I thought all these things about somebody else, and I got to reflect, well, where am I doing this and where am I doing that? And not in a sense of caring about what other people think, but in the sense that it bothered me. That means it's within me. That means it's something that I get to tackle and take on myself. But so, what I want instead is just really to continue on this path of clearing and cleansing and relaxing, more relaxing, not forcing anything, not trying to like even create anything, but just the relaxing. And so what also comes up is I never had to worry about any of this stuff, and yet I worry about this stuff. Money, I've never had less than 30 grand in my accounts in like 15 years. I can tell you, I don't have money. Oh my God, we better watch our money. Like, what the fuck? It has nothing to do with money, but it also has to deal with the only reason why I have a fucking problem is because I think I have a problem. I don't have a problem with money. I don't have a fucking problem with weight. I don't have money blocks. I don't have weight blocks or attitude blocks or anything like that. The only block is that I think I have a block. And then marketing comes in and says, hey, you got this block, you got this bullshit, you got this bullshit. And I'm like, yeah, I do. You're right. Let me go try to figure that out. Instead of just being like, well, if I did it, then what? What if that really isn't true? Because I've thought this forever, literally, especially about the money, and nothing has ever rung true or actually come true that I stressed out about for so many fucking years. Like, it's just really blowing my mind about the fucking problems we create for ourselves with this entanglement. So with that being said, I just am so appreciative to be able to get this out into the world, because this is stuck in me. Even though I've been sharing it and teaching about it, it's still for here, it's for me. When I'm doing things necessarily out there, yes, it's for me, but a lot of times I'm doing it for other people too, to help other people, to make other people feel great, and blah blah blah, right? Because that's our servant leader in us. So I'm good. I'm done rambling.
Not sure I have much to follow that up with.
I think we should just stop right now and be like, episode 4 was all broken.
Yeah,
You know, like,
I'm like, no.
Was it? I'm sorry.
No.
why are you apologizing? I'm not saying it in any way
No.
like that. Yeah.
I'm always apologizing to you, Colleen.
I think just because people on my page are probably going to have no clue what the hell you're talking about. So I'm going to kind of just like throw out a few little things. Basically, if I'm correct in catching what you're laying down, everybody, like for you, part of what you're releasing is the fact that, you know, we create our own problems, right? Like our mind. And people tell us, no, you have to be a certain way, you have to be a certain way. But we are our own healers. We are our own guru. Like we have everything we need. And all the stuff that's in our head is programming. It's all programming. So like one of the things, like when I talk to my audience, or the people who follow me for the most part, a lot of them are so stuck in their head. And I love what you said about women. It's so true. It is so true how if you stand out, if you embrace, you know, your appearance and you're confident and you love yourself and you have boundaries and you show up big and bold in the world, you are going to get shamed. You're going to get ridiculed. You're going to get other women, because the programming is there.
Yeah.
The programming in the collective of, you know, the jealousy and the competition and how women have to be in competition with each other. And, you know, I mean, look at shows like The Bachelorette and, you know, Love Island and all this crap that's on TV is all, you know, who's the prettiest, who's the this, who's the that. And God forbid you show up authentically and be you and stand in your own power. That's going to get smacked down immediately, you know? So there is so much of that in the collective. And I love too what you said, and this is not really so much about my shit, but it used to be, but like I used to be really, we'll just talk about me. I used to be really wrapped up in being triggered by other people. And I still am sometimes, but I'm much more aware of it, right? Like, but everything is that projection, you know, what I see in you is me, you know? So when somebody else is triggering me, or it's making me feel less than or bad or jealous even, you know, I can say that now having that awareness around it, I can say, okay, no, this is my shit. It has nothing to do with me being less than. It has nothing to do with them being better than me, which is what I used to always think, right? You know, because there's that program of competition. And like we are always in competition. We're always like have to one up the person or even, and I don't care how many people sit there and say, oh, I don't judge other people. Bullshit. Yes, you do. You do it every second of every day, and you don't even realize half the time you're doing it. Yeah. Half the time you walk down the street, what do you say to yourself? Oh, I'm a spiritual person. I'm in alignment. Oh my God, what the hell is she wearing? You know, like all the time we do that stuff. And those are all judgments, but they're all projections from us. So if you're doing that shit, you got to look within.
Yeah.
You got to look at you, because it all comes from you. You know, you wouldn't even be able to recognize it outside of yourself if it wasn't already in you. Yeah. So looking at that and recognizing, oh, I have work to do. You know, because that spiritual ego will be like, oh, you're so amazing. You're doing this. Look at the people you're helping in the world, and look at all the work you've done, and you're doing shadow work, and that's so hard. Look at you. Pat yourself on the back. Yeah. But get to the deep down shit.
Yeah.
There's stuff down there. There is stuff, and I'm telling you, if you are judging, if you are seeing everybody in this world outside of yourself at all as separate and not you, you got work to do. Period. Plain and simple. And I love too, Brooke, that you were talking about the grieving process, because one thing I noticed for myself, this past, like I know I mentioned last time that I went through this, like another dark night of the soul, and releasing and giving up some of my deep, dark secrets, like the deep secrets that nobody knows about me, the things that make me vulnerable, the things that make me not like parts of myself, right? The things I'm ashamed of, the things I have guilt over, like bringing that up to the light and like actually sharing that out to people that love and care about me and just into the world in general, and allowing it to come out of myself put me in this process of, like, for a couple weeks there, I was like really sad. Mm-hmm. Like I was crying all the time. And I had no idea why. Like, I'm like, why am I fucking crying? I'm like, this is not hormones. I don't have any hormones. I'm postmenopausal. So I know it's not hormones. I'm like, why am I crying? And like out of the blue, like I literally would be sitting at my desk doing work or writing or something like that. And I would start sobbing. And I had to sit there and I'd be like, check in with my guidance, and spirit's like, you're releasing emotion. It's okay. You're releasing, you're in grief. You're releasing. And I'm like, I'm in grief. Why am I grieving? Why am I? And I was like, oh yeah. All the attachment to all that crap, to all that stuff, that way of coping, that way of always just stepping down, because I'm like, oh, well, and you know, and here's me, I've been on my spiritual journey for 30 fucking years. You would think by now that I would have, and my guides are laughing at me. So you got another big coming. But it's like, always we think, you know, oh, we're doing all this stuff. That's the thing. It is like, I have never in my life understood more the analogy of peeling the fucking onion. You know, it's always like getting to the root, getting deeper. And just when you think you did, you know, a couple years go by and then you realize other ways it's showing up in your life. And so it's all part of this journey. You know, it's all part of that. But the unprogramming, and I always felt like it was this destination point. You know, like, if I just got it, if I just got to this point, if I just did this one thing, or tried this one modality, or tried this one, you know, if I just studied my human design, I would figure it out. If I just paid attention to astrology, I would understand. You know, if I just had one more thing, or one more path, or one more, you know, all the things are great and they're amazing modalities and stuff, but not any of that stuff is going to, like, it's all inside you. And you have to sit with yourself. And you have to sit with yourself. It's not looking outside of, oh, let me go to another tarot reader. Let me go to another, you know, to figure my shit out. No, sit with yourself. Sit with yourself. Because when you do, and when you start recognizing and witnessing your own shit and what is making you triggered, and that is where that real work starts. And that's when you allow it to come out. And you have to look at it. You can't not look at it. And that's the hard fucking part. You know, and when you release some stuff, you are going to go through that guilt and that grieving period. I mean, so yeah, I'm really glad you brought that up.
Colleen?
Yes.
What are you thinking? You're over there with the.
I'm over here floating in my comfort zone, laying on my couch and just being grounded in the energy. That's what I'm fucking doing right now. But it's interesting because most people obviously don't know I was in Panama over the weekend. You guys obviously do, because I was communicating with you guys to be like, I'm fucking stuck in Panama right now, which was interesting. So like, Panama for me felt like Las Vegas. And it was so fun. So I was there with my girlfriend, my friend's two sons, okay? Because whenever I say girlfriend, everyone thinks that I actually have a partner that's a female. And apparently that's a thing right now. So I need to like stop saying girlfriends, even though like that's how I talk about everybody. Like, that's a girl, you know, in my life. But okay, my friend's sons. So there's three of us. And we go out for dinner, and I was guided to share the story of when I went to Vegas one time, because intuition told me I needed to go. And at this space in my life, I had no money, literally no money. Like I could barely get to Vegas. My girlfriend was going for a wedding, or my friend was going for a wedding, and she wanted a +1. So the expenses were kind of halved. I found a really cheap flight, but I flew to Vegas like on a one-way ticket to Vegas. Okay. Didn't know when I was leaving, didn't know how the money was going to drop in for me to get home, but I trusted the universal alignment that all the things would align. So we were talking about this like while I was in Panama, because when we got into Panama and we went to a place called like David, but it's actually like David, like David. I think it's, I can't even remember the name. I always forget, whatever. It's all good in Spanish, David in Spanish. And we got into David and I was like, fuck, this feels like Vegas. So then all of a sudden, all these triggers in my life and my past life started dropping into the space. Like we walked into the hotel and I was like, oh my God, maybe I want to come sit at the bar and have a drink. And I was like, I haven't had alcohol in 9 weeks, right? And I'm really vibing with the fluidity in my life and the purity of what I move through. Like we don't have fast food places here. Everything I eat is from the earth, like literally freshly picked from local farms and all this stuff, right? So firstly, I'm like, okay, where is this coming from? Secondly, I open up the window, like in my hotel room, I look around, KFC, Dairy Queen, Subway, all these fast food restaurants are here in Panama. And I'm like, okay, we don't have these here. Up in North America, we have them, right? And it's really regulated. And then I started looking around when we were in the cab and a lot of people are overweight in Panama. And I'm going, okay, is there a correlation between the level of energy of what they're putting into their bodies, which isn't being transmuted, which Brooke just called, they're holding on to that energetics through the food that they're eating and the toxicity that they're eating and not releasing it out. So I'm starting to pay attention. So we go to dinner and then I started telling the boys this conversation of me being in Vegas, how I flew down. I knew I was there for a reason and I couldn't figure out what it was at the beginning. So I was looking for signs all the way through Vegas. Why the fuck am I here? Why the fuck am I here? Why the fuck am I here? Then I finally see this, and I haven't told this story out loud to like and hardly anybody, like because I used to hold a lot of shame around this story because of the fact that I flew to fucking Vegas on an intuitive hit without even having money to be in Vegas. So all of that was like floating through this field, right? I think this was like 2017, somewhere along that line, all right? And then I finally see this burlesque billboard, and I'm going to make this short and tight. I know I don't have that much space, but this burlesque billboard, and there was all these blondes and one brunette on the billboard, and I was like, I'm supposed to meet that woman. So I go figure out where the burlesque show was fucking happening. I go there, and my girlfriend doesn't know I'm going through any of this. The woman I'm traveling with, no clue that I don't have money, and she's like, I want to go to a show. Let's go to that. And I was like, this burlesque show is only $85 US. And I was like, we can go to this show because I'm supposed to fucking be at this show, right? Like I'm supposed to like go there. And then I see this billboard again, and this woman just kept calling to me. There's something about this woman. I need to meet her. We buy tickets. We go to the show. I drop into the space and I figure out who she is. And then all of a sudden I go to the bathroom and all these messages are coming through that I have to give to her. Okay, I fucking fly to Vegas to give this burlesque dancer a message from the universe. The message, and at the time I didn't even own my channeling. At the time I didn't even own my psychic gifts and abilities. Like I was floating in like old triggering patterns of like, I just want to live life in liberty and like this is coming in and like almost like the, bypassing spiritually stuff, thinking that I'm fucking all hoity-toity above things and the universe will take care of me while I'm in fucking Vegas, right? So I'm like, okay. So I end up downloading this message, and the message was coming in like, you need to stop living in fear because your daughter's meant to do amazing things in the world. And if you keep living in this vibration, you're going to diminish the pathway that she needs to be on, or something like this. Like her daughter was this beautiful, brilliant light in the world and she was fucking shit up for her daughter. So I write this note out. After the show, I walk up to her. I go, is your name so-and-so? She's like, yeah. And I said, do you have a daughter? And she looked at me like, how the fuck do you know? And then I was like, I just have a message for you. And I get past her the note and I left. Okay. That was what I was supposed to do in Vegas. Meanwhile, Colleen has like $300 in her wallet now and is like, I'm going to go fucking play blackjack because I know that this $200 is going to like build into something else to get me the fuck home. So guess what happens? I lose the fucking $200, right? I can barely eat and all this dynamic. My girlfriend's leaving the next day. We go to the wedding. I get shit-faced, okay, at the wedding. Literally blackout on a fucking bench because I drank too much tequila. Yeah, and barely got back to the hotel room. Okay, this is what's happening. and I can't get home. So the hotel's under her name, and she's like, okay, I'm leaving. She left at like 7 a.m. I'm like, don't worry, I'll be checked out by 11. So a couple days before that, my girlfriend was like, I have a friend that's in Vegas. You need to connect with her. She's amazing. So we went for coffee, and she says to me, if you ever need anything, just let me know. So I'm making a call. Is there any way I can crash at your house tonight? Because I'm kind of like stuck here. Da, 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 da. So that all aligned. But I had to make a call to my mom that night and go, Mom, I'm fucking stuck in Vegas. Like, I can't get home. What the fuck are you doing with your life? I can't believe you're in fucking Vegas and da 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 da. Like, she went off on me, right? I'm like, Mom, I don't need to hear a lecture. I just need money to get home on a flight back to Toronto. Can you make this happen and move through this space? So this brought, and I haven't thought about this scenario in a long time, but we're at dinner on Saturday night, and I tell the guys this experience, and they think I'm nuts, and I am. Like, this is like, but this is how Colleen, like back in the day, used to live her life, trusting the universe would take care of me, but in a very deprecating way, like not in a way of full surrender and trust, like I'm in alignment, in a way of like rooted in this fucking triggering shadow dynamic. So we end up going to the casino after dinner, and they've never been to the casino, but I was like, look, there's a casino here. Let's just go see what's going on. I've never played roulette before, but I threw a 20 down on the table, and I said, let's put a 20 down and see. I ended up making a bit of money back, and there wasn't an expense there, but there came a time when all of our chips were down on the roulette table, because every time I would get like actual coins from them, one of the other guys was like, here, you take care of these. That's the money. You know, like every new chip came in, we'd play the chips, but there was like dollar chips that were like actually figures. So I'd be like, just put those aside. So I came out on top, like $15, but still like the money didn't go down the drain like it would have before. But there was a point in the roulette table where all the chips were down, and my instinct was pull out another 20. And then I was like, no, we're done this experience. Thank you. Whereas the triggered Colleen before would keep trying to use the universe to create more abundance in a different way that was deprecating from a place of lack. Right. And then I ended up putting another 20 in the 777 machine because dinner was $77.74. So I was like, fuck, like we got to go play some 777s if we're going to be here. It took the 20 and it was fine. I still was up $15, right? And moving out of that door. But we got back to the hotel, and the guy's like, are you going to go have a drink? And I was like, I'm not really feeling it. Like, I'm going to go back up to my room. And I pulled open one of my books that I was reading and ended up staying up till midnight anyways reading. But it was this experience that I saw, like, our availability to move back timelines at any given point in time. And like you guys said about the triggering dynamics of stuff, it was like I dropped back into, like, a space that I could have went out and did this and like had the drinks and went back to the casino, and like I have an energy about me, and I know you guys know this knowing me, but like I can walk into a room and like I have an energy. People want to talk to me, you know. So like the guy beside me at the roulette table was talking to me. Like we walk in like people were talking to me. Like I could have went in and, you know, been a showboat. I probably could have gotten some guy to pay for all my fucking chips on something, you know, like I could have done that, but it doesn't serve my life that I desire to live. And I had to check myself this weekend, like and go, is this what you desire? And I almost wanted to go have a drink to see, is this still me? You know, can I go down to the bar and have a drink and play this hoity-toity position? Like I think I'm fucking over here having a drink at the bar, like holding this energy. Is this really me? And I didn't desire or need to step into that space this weekend. And it was interesting to be all that. But I was like, just the conversation that we're having today, or the reflections at least that we're having, because we're about to converse. But like, I'm like, it's just been an interesting journey the last 48 hours. And then getting stuck in Panama, not being able to get back, like we can't leave the country. And then, you know, like, so we had to miss the bus. So luckily we have some private drivers here that drive. Like when I go to San Jose, like I live 3.5 hours pretty much away from San Jose. So they drive us to San Jose. They had a guy that would come to Panama to pick us up because we're about 2 hours from the border where I live, like the Panama border. So I'm like, luckily we have this, or else we would have been like trying to bribe some friends that were still around to try and come get us, you know, like at the Panama border. They wouldn't have left us there. But, you know, like it's just interesting, the dynamics of it all and how we can drop into this. But my podcast launching tomorrow, I literally did this morning, was all about distortion. And just seeing distortion in our fields, because it showed up a couple times this morning with clients, Voxers and stuff. And and holding the space. But I have a free masterclass this week called Exploit, and I want to go in, just like you had talked about, Tanya, about the shadow work, like, and talk about this. Like, most of us are surface leveling it, and I have been there before.
Mm-hmm.
Trust me, I thought I was like this fucking queen up on the mountaintop going, I'm doing the work, and I fucking never did the work. Like, I surface level, yeah, I got it. And if someone's watching this and it's after the 29th of June, there's a recording. So you can just go into any of my bios, contact me, whatever. You can fucking get it, because I think it's time that we actually start to speak truth. And that's why we are here, you know, in this mechanism, in this series that we've created called Triggers and Shadows, to speak about the shit that's going on, you know, in that field, and to actually move through it and to show you that, yeah, all of us are holding our own capacity in the work we do, and, you know, transmuting DNA, and, you know, talking about soulmates and sacred union, and moving through the manifesting, and, you know, me holding power and truth and helping activate missions. But if you are fucking not doing the work, and you're not willing to go into the work, it doesn't matter how many fucking courses, programs, coaches you have, because it's time. Like, you're never getting into that. Like, you need to go in and start to look at this, because anxiety and depression and doubt and lack of clarity and lack of motivation are not fucking vibrations that you need to hold at all. So anyhow, that's my story, chilling out here on my couch. Animal.
Well, too, you know, one of my biggest revelations was the anxiety. Beginning to actually feel the anxiety, to me, was like a free fall, because I only knew anxiety, and to feel feelings and to feel the anxiety was, there were things that came out of me that I didn't want to come out of me. But I knew as they were coming out of me, they're fucking in me. Yeah. You know, if I'm saying evil things, if I'm saying this stuff, and I would sit there and I would step outside myself and watch myself have these fits, like whether it was contemplating leaving this earth, or just really being as evil as a person that I could be to anybody that was in my vicinity. Mm-hmm. But I also knew that because that stuff was so stuck in me, it was killing me. It was fucking killing me. It wasn't serving me. It was killing me. And so really, but having to go through that process of feeling your anxiety and things like that, I had to have a lot of tools. Yeah. I slept a lot. I had to recover a lot. It was extremely straining and exhausting. But what was really deadly, extremely draining and exhausting, was having the anxiety itself. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
100%. I never struggle with anxiety, but I've had several of my clients who do. And I see that. I see it's like crippling. Mm-hmm. It is pervasive, and it like runs their life. Absolutely runs the life. And if you allow it to, and I think so few people do what you just did, you know, with like the whole, let me step out of my body and witness this, and then do the work to release that stuff. Because I think so few people really, just like we were saying, really do that deep work, and like allow yourself to feel this shit, because you have to feel it. And most of us, when we're uncomfortable, what do? Push it away. Yeah. Find some way to escape it. Escapism. I mean, for crying out loud, I'm the queen of escapism. I mean, I've freaking struggled with bulimia for 30 years and then had addiction issues on top of that. That is the epitome of escapism, because we don't want to feel the shit. We don't want to feel the yuck. We don't want to see that part of ourselves. The part that's ugly, the part that, you know, you said when you were being super evil to people. I mean, when we act like that and do those things, and we are all capable of all of those things, you know, and because I tried to chuckle, because so many people are like, oh my God, how could a person ever do that to somebody? I'm like, have you really ever sat with the dark side of yourself?
Yes.
Do you realize how evil you could be?
Yeah.
We all have that capacity.
Well, obviously, if they spotted it in somebody else, it's only because it's within them. And
exactly.
It's, you know, that's where the treasure is. But the biggest reason why I was able to actually do that was because I was going through, I had created a thing just like this. I had a couple other people that were there for me each week that I knew that would be able to witness this yuck that I was going through. That's all I needed, was somebody to witness it and just be like, I know that's not you. I know you want to stay here on this earth, but obviously there's parts of you that, you know, you've stuffed away, and that's not even ours sometimes, right? And I love this. And so where I was really getting at was, yes, there's layers, and yes, people might not know that they're not really doing the shit, but because there's the layers, just start. Just start. You don't have to be where any of us are, but just start. And then keep your ears and eyes open to people who are doing the deeper things. When you think that you got this, there's nothing wrong with thinking you got this, but thinking you got this because you feel like shit. Thinking you got this because you just fucking freaked out on your family. Thinking you, but right? Instead of thinking, well, you have all this guilt and shame and you keep it stuffed in and you're just like, oh, so on the outside I got this and I'm a great mom and I do this and I do that. No. Okay. I am those things. But what it takes for me to actually be those things is to not have this fucking stuff stuck in me, this karmic baggage that is not even fucking mine. It's not mine. And so that's another thing too, is as a guidance and assistance, is if you are feeling evil, if you do have those things in you, it is within you. It might not be because of you. So don't feel like you know, like, oh, God, it's me, or I feel bad because I feel this way. Like, no. It's our responsibility to clear that shit out. And it might not be us, but it is within us, right? That rage that we've been fucking kept away from. Like, that's why I'm calling Ma. Like, well, hurry up! Say something really nasty to someone I love so then I can start to recover and come back from it, right? So, I mean, I think that representation of that, like how ugly we can look, but it's only because we're getting it out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just want to make sure I say something to this too. It's not giving anybody an excuse to treat people like shit. And I'm not saying that Brooke's saying that either.
Oh, yeah.
Because I just want to make sure I say that too, because I think that's a pertinent thing. Because it's like, if you're not fucking doing the work and you're being a jackass and a bitch into the world, you need to fucking look at your shit. Yeah. Because it's not okay for you to treat others like shit because you're just, oh my God, I'm in my shadow, and it's okay because I'm in my shadow. So I just want to make sure that I say that out loud because, you know, Brooke may be running around like fucking I want to kill you Barbie in the world, you know, but she's also got a lot more tools than some people out there. So don't take that as her giving you permission to be a fucking jackass, okay?
But at the same time, what are you doing? You keeping everything safe, so you're keeping the people around you that allow you to be that way.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah.
And instead of it, I just think that if it's in us and we're being an asshole to people, and if we push those people away, then that's part of the process. Mm-hmm. not part of your healing plan. My husband and my kids, I brought them into this world. I made them who they are. I'm just kidding. You know that's not true. But at the same time, like, we have contracts together, me and my family, and this is one of the biggest contracts. Is like, well, if Brooke's healing and Brooke's, showing us the way to clear out this karmic baggage so we don't have to, then we won't really take on any of her baggage when she's behaving that way. Does that
but
make sense?
you also have awareness around it. That's the thing. I just wanted to make sure that we're not just giving permission to people to be fucking retards in the world, and I say that with love and respect. Like
Consequences. Obviously sometimes people have to do those things in order to fucking get their shit together.
And I get that part too, but there's a lot of people out there running around being like,
Using
my
that
shadow,
excuse.
just accept me for this. And it's like, yeah, I accept you, but you can go over there and be a dick.
Yeah.
I understand we have our stuff to work through. I really get it. But yeah, anyhow, I know we're coming up to an hour, so we're going to have to close out right away.
Yeah, I know, because I know, Colleen, you have another call you got to jump on right away.
Colleen is a packed day today, but also Instagram cuts us off in 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot what time it was.
It's not even
Any
me.
last thoughts?
No, but I love what Colleen just said, because that doesn't, I noticed that as a trend in some people, not everyone, but I have seen that. I've seen that where people are like, oh, I'm doing shadow work. And then all of a sudden they just use that as an excuse to be really abusive. And that's, you've got to have awareness, like recognize, hey, I'm going to rage, but then I'm going to come back and be like, oh, okay, who do I need to apologize now to? And let me check myself, and what am I releasing, and what am I dealing with? And go do the introspection work, right? So. Yeah.
There's always good intention. Like, it goes back to your intention. And no, I'm not abusive.
No, I'm not.
I used to be a narcissist and all that stuff, I'll claim all that. I'm completely different now.
Yeah.
Or I wouldn't be able to talk about that.
Of course not.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely. You wouldn't even be here.
No.
We wouldn't be having this conversation.
Yeah. Definitely not.
All right, loves.
Any
last words before we wrap things up?
Okay. No, I am completed.
Let's take a deep breath. We're going to ground ourselves out and just putting your feet on the ground, allowing all this energy of everything that's been brought forward today to just settle into your field, and what resonates with you, take it. What doesn't, leave it behind. Everything else, just allow it to sink out through the roots in your feet. And just take a deep breath and just release that. I just want to thank all of the guides, the ancestors, the ascended masters, the light beings, the space holders, those of you who are here with us helping light the way, healing the collective, knowing that as we heal and release things within ourselves, we are helping to heal the whole. And we thank you all for your presence and for your witness and being here today as we co-create this beautiful journey and work through our own triggers and shadows. And we thank you for allowing us to be of service in this way and co-creating this adventure on planet Earth. Although Brooke doesn't want to, she hates Earth.
No, I am Earth. I am Earth.
I just remember you guys saying, you're like, I hate Earth. That was a couple weeks ago.
That was a couple. No, I seriously I'm still on the trip. I'm still feeling earthy.
On the new trip. Still the new timeline trip.
If both are important, right? Our connection above as below. Both are important. So the earth and the stars, and both are merged together. So
I'm just one. I'm rolling with it. I've never felt so earthy in my life.
That's just feeling the heartbeat.
It's because of the
pulse,
work.
the frequency.
Because of the work. And the acceleration that's going to continue to occur for all three of us. So, yes, awesome. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Thank you for letting me be me. And
always.
all right, bye, guys. Love you.